I'm your host, Brother Talk Bay, and we're going to figure this one out. Yeah, we're going to figure this one out. We're going to figure out why every time I want to go live, there's always something. But nevertheless, we're going to get busy. We're going to get busy. It don't make a difference. We're going to get busy. Are you in the building? Check 1, 2. Are you in the building? Let me finish setting this up real quick because we did have some form of technical difficulties trying to get this stream up and jumping. So give me a second. Seems to me that they don't want me to tell my side of the story. You know what I'm talking about? So, hey, at the end of the day, it is what it is. We're going to tell this story. You know what I'm talking about? Let me finish doing what I'm doing here. And then, hold up. Let me see what we got here. All right, I'm going to finish doing what I'm doing here. Bam, let me get that out of there. Check 1, 2, y'all in the building. Make sure y'all share this. This going to be a pretty good one. I think this is going to be a good. I got my little spirits down a little bit. You know I'm talking about. I got my spirits down just a little bit because these people like to mess with my channel. You know I'm talking about. But that's all right. We're going to get it going. Let me get this going right over here. Hope y'all in the building this evening. Yeah, man. I felt like, hold up, man. Why they keep messing with my stuff, man? Why they keep messing with my stuff, man? But hey, it is what it is, man. Look, welcome to another edition of Morris World TV. I'm your host, Brother Tahaka Bay, and I'm just doing a little bit cleaning up around this demonstration real quick. So give me 1 second so I can get my description and all of that in my title section. I gotta kind of backdoor my streams at this point because these people that FBA and so I guess nobody wants me to talk, man. But hey, I'm here to talk. Here we go. Welcome to another edition, family. Hold on 1 second. Let me make sure I'm doing this right over here. Bam. I gotta get it right. You know what I'm talking about? All right. Welcome to another edition of Morris World TV. Family, I done lost my voice a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I lost my voice a little bit, so you're gonna have to work with me. And then I had to jump on. Let me X some of these windows out so I don't have no problems. I had to jump on another platform because it seems like the platform I was using was kind of compromised. You know what I'm saying? In other words, it would not do what I've been having it to do. So I had to jump on this platform. Sorry for the delay. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here. Sorry for the delay, but I'm here. So let's stop all the pleasantries, right? Let's stop with all the pleasantries. First of all, you know what the show is about. So we know that Professor Small recently made a statement, and I broke the statement not so long ago. Let me see if I can get me a video up here. I broke the statement not so long ago that the professor made. And it seems to me that other people now, all of a sudden, everybody want to jump on Professor Smalls. Now, let me first play the first statement that I played the other day. Here it is.
Pro-African, pro-freedom, pro-identity, pro-Pan-Africanism. So don't get me confused with yourself, because you're cowards and you're afraid to identify as Africans because you don't want the responsibility to fight for freedom. I'm not a coward. I'm 80 years old, and I've spent 60 plus of those 80 years in a day-to-day constant freedom fight on the part of my people. So cowards, if you want to be critical of our race, if you want to be, and anyone have a right to criticize ourselves and our race, we have a right to do that and try to be appropriate. And so I say to brothers and sisters, if my tone was inappropriate, I apologize to myself and to you for that. But people are not going to use me to support their backwards, ignorance point of views as regard African peoples and Pan-Africanism. If you think that you're going to get me as an ally, you got the wrong black man. I am an African, born an African, will die an African. I am not FBA. I am not ADOS. And no matter how long you've been in the Americas or anywhere in the world, we came here from Africa.
Now, let me say this. What the professor is talking about, if you are unaware, what the professor is talking about is he did a video years ago. And he was addressing the disparity between Africans on the continent and quote unquote Africans born in America. And he was addressing the disparities head on. He wasn't addressing it as an attack to be divisive amongst people in the African diaspora. But what happened is FBA quacks, they took that video and tried to act like the professor was being intentionally divisive and siding on the FBA before even FBA was created. It's just crazy. Now, you know, and I know that I've been very critical of Professor Smalls. And reason why I was very critical of Professor Smalls, and I will continue to be, of those who don't stand on which they have stood on for years, is because it appears to me that it's something bigger going on when you change your position that you have been raised on, that you have been brought up on, and that you have established yourself on. It kind of seems suspect to me. And so when Professor Smalls was doing the lecture at the rally, you know what I'm saying? He was doing the lecture at the rally. He stood on Pan-African business at the rally. You know, the little shing ding in DC. He stood on Pan-African business. However, he would not directly address the inconsistencies with his host, Tariq Nasheed, and the attacks on Pan-Africanism and the attacks on the unity of our people, on the attacks of people of the diaspora. And I thought that was a bit, Professor Smalls. Now, mind you, I've met, shook his hand, hugged Professor Smalls personally. Up until Professor Smalls did not or would not, at the time I thought, would address this guy attacks on people of African descent. I'm like, what's going on, Professor Smalls? This is why I'm saying this. I'm like, what's going on? And then what really bothered me, because I've been a part of this conscious thing on the internet, outside of the internet. I've been around for quite some time. I know who Professor Smalls' peers are. I know his peer is Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. I know his peer is John Henry Clark. I know his peer is Dr. Ben and others. I know his peers. You know what I mean? I know his peers. And so because I know his peers, I respect his peers, and I know that they African-centered, Pan-African powered centered. I'm like, man, Professor Smalls. But one thing I didn't take into consideration, and this is my fault. One thing that I didn't take into consideration is knowing Professor Smalls, he might take a little second to digest everything. That it might take him a minute to mill over everything. He's not a frequent troller, subscriber, stroller through the internet. In fact, Professor Smalls, he literally gets on the internet to teach. He don't get on the internet to battle. He don't get on the internet to combat. He doesn't get on the internet to go back and forth with people. He literally gets on the internet to teach. So he don't really see everything that's going on. Most of what Mr. Small get is what people tell him or what people have dropped into his lap, and he might click here and there, but he really don't know what's going on. You feel what I'm saying? But over time, he would come to know what's going on. And I'm not speaking for Professor Smalls, but I will say, I think Professor Small began to see that Tariq was using all of the Pan-African leaders as a prop for his agenda. And not only his agenda, but the agenda of the hands that you don't see. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Professor Smalls figured it out, that I am being used to further this guy's agenda. And not only am I being used to further this guy's agenda, I was being used when the guy was talking Pan-Africanism. I've been telling people for the longest. That this mission did not start with FBA. It did not start with FBA. Family, make sure you share this, because let me tell you, they are circling the wagons on Professor Small. But this is the thing. They did not circle the wagons on Professor Small when Professor Small came on Tariq Nasheed's platform. Tariq Nasheed never have guests on his platform. Press 7 if you remember when people was asking Professor Small about FBA, and he says that he's not FBA, and immediately Tariq brought Professor Small to his platform. And this is one of the only times that you will see someone on the platform live stream with Tariq Nasheed, because he knew that his credibility was about to be ruined by Professor Small. And so he brought Professor Small on the screen. And even then, the professor was being gracious. The professor was giving his student, so he thought, the benefit of the doubt. And he was being gracious then. And I even made a video. I'm like, nah, professor, nah. Now, I don't know exactly what I said, but I said something to the effect like, nah. Because I already know that the professor has a strong footprint. And the historical education for people of African descent in America has a strong footprint on the continent, has a strong footprint in the psyche of many, many, many people as it relates to the African diaspora and us coming together. So yeah, I felt some type of way. Because the guy that I looked up to, see, I'm keeping the whole stack. The guy that I looked up to, the guy that I admired, the guy that I see as a scholar, see as an elder, see as one who can open our minds to things that the average person probably couldn't. And I felt some type of way. Maybe I was quick to feel that type of way. But let me tell you something, though. There's nothing like when an elder, a seasoned elder, can double back and say, you know what? I may have missed the mark. And now let me clarify who I am. Now, Professor Smalls ain't saying nothing different. He said the same thing at the rally, that he's Pan-African. He said the same thing at the rally, but I wanted him to know that the people that is using him and giving him the platform is the problem. In some sense, the people who claim it FBA ain't even really the problem because they don't know no better. They don't know their history. They don't know that the professor has 40 plus years of history of teaching. They don't. You know what I mean? Thanks for the donation, family. They don't know. They don't know. FBA stands for fascist bigotry, Afrophobia. They don't know, family, the history of a Tariq Nasheed. They don't know the hustle. And so it's up to us that know, family, we are supposed to go on these platforms and leave a comment and go. And leave a comment and go. Because let me show you something. They are actually using the professor to build their platform. Listen, I know how the game go. I did the same thing with Crazy Sinetta when they was coming for the Moors. I did the same thing. I said, I'm going to go back and forth with him and I'm going to knock it out the park. But these people are scandalous. I'm not doing it for scandal. I was doing it to defend my lifestyle, which is Moorish American. I was doing it to defend the truth as I know it. I was doing it, but they are doing it to build a platform. Let me show you something, family. There's a guy that was that has this platform, and I don't know the guy personally. You know, love something. I don't know the guy personally, but they did a live stream last night, and every part of the live stream was passive aggressive, pseudo, and defending FBA. And one of the things that really boggles my mind is that Professor Kaba's son, Booker T. Coleman, is on the show. And this guy have the nerve to say, and I don't want to misquote him. I was trying to find the video. I don't want to misquote him, but he says something to the effect is, how can the CIA fund FBA? How can the CIA fund FBA if FBA is teaching us to delineate and break away? Why would they fund something like that? You goofy guy, let me explain something to you. You goofy guy, let me explain something to you. The FBI funded Gaddafi at one time. I mean, the CIA. They funded Gaddafi at one time. Years later, they took Gaddafi out. The CIA funded. They funded. Look at Rockman Offense. I'm gonna speak to that in a minute. The CIA funded the guy that they claimed that hit the towers. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about. They funded him. Russia funded him. I forget his name. They funded what's the guy name? The guy name, man, supposed to be the mastermind of the towers. You know what I'm talking about. I forget these names. The Arab guy. Even they funded Saddam Hussein. You know what I'm saying? Now, let me speak to this. Let me speak to this because somebody said the CIA and NSA, the FBI know they're not paying attention to any of this. This is how sleepy we are. Yeah, bin Laden. This is how sleepy we are. People that don't study history would make the goofy statement say that the CIA, the FBI, NSA ain't paying attention to none of this. Do you know that the CIA or the FBI has paid small groups to just go into a march and upset the march? See, this is what happens when people don't read. Do you know that the FBI has been caught red-handed causing small disturbances while you're thinking so big? No, it doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen on a big scale. It happens with influence. This is why our people fall asleep. It happened with influence. They're not trying to you think they tripping because ain't nobody dropping a TNT on them. Bam. No, it's not all about that. It's about influence. It's about confusion. It's about keeping you discombobulated. It's about keeping you discombobulated. It's not about some grandiose posture to try to stop something. In fact, the CIA and the FBI, they never try to stop anything. What they do is try to confuse the populace. That's what they do. And when you study the tactics, they go in these foreign countries. They do it all the time. They go into these foreign countries and they find themselves a niche in these foreign countries. They live in these foreign countries. They acquire intel in these foreign countries. And then they figure out maybe 10 years later if they need to dismantle this foreign country. Rockman, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know nothing that you're talking about. This is how it works in the real world. In the real world, they get intel. They just don't dismantle anything in the beginning. They get intel. Rockman, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about, and this ain't your conversation. Maybe your conversation, my brother, may be talking about the last Barney episode. I mean, but this ain't your conversation because you're looking for some grandiose infiltration. There is no such thing as grandiose infiltration. It was a saying by, I think it was J. Edgar Hoover. He said, no longer will we destroy revolutions, and I'm paraphrasing, by blood. Now we will create the leader. You know what that means? They won't destroy the leader, have to kill the leader. They now create the leader. You have to wake up, man. Listen. See, people like you, my brother, I love you I love you dearly, brother, but you will never see intel of COINTELPRO right in front of your neighborhood because you think it's some big grandiose operation. It's a big operation, but on the forefront, it look as normal and it just look like regular everyday back and forth cat fighting. Nah, it's real. Let me tell you something. When I went to LA and I looked at that videotape and them people was on the roof, it was real to me. When I went to LA and I came back and I looked at that video and them people were sitting in the car, it was real to me. 9 o'clock in the morning, the place ain't even open and them people were sitting up there waiting for me. It was real to me. And guess what? They probably wasn't even there to do me no harm. But if I would have got the scrapping in that ground and beat the brakes off of that boy up in there, I probably wouldn't have made it home. Good thing I think on my toes. And while people say, oh, he slapped you, all that, guess what? I slapped myself right back to Baltimore and got myself with my family and my children because I'm able to see. You see, but when you ain't able to see, you're quick to fall victim for this. Then I'm telling you, I don't think they was meant to do me no harm, but I do know that if I would have retaliated that day when that boy swung on me, I would not made it home. I would not be talking to you today. And no, they could have just surrounded me as soon as I got out the car. That wasn't the mission. They've been sitting in front of my house. I got the pictures. They haven't come in my house. They never even said anything to me. I didn't walked up to cars. I didn't trace cars out my neighborhood. They didn't park them by the temple with dark windows. I got them on the surveillance camera. I got cars on the surveillance camera riding back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So when I'm telling you, don't think infiltration is some big grandiose thing. No. Anyway, back to my point. My whole point is what I'm saying, my brother Rockman, is that these people are now making videos trying to show. Thank you so much. Official. Let me see. Teach noble temples will take it from here. That's right. Thank you, my brother. Also, my brother, Official Smooth, my brother, the Grand Sheik, Night Bay of Detroit, Noble Temples in Detroit. So if you Detroit, man, come to the temple, holler at us in January. I think it's January the 8th. We're going to have a big thing going on there. Islam, keep opening the eyes of our people. Keep opening our people's eyes. Peace and love. Noble Temples will take it from here. Thank you, big bro. I appreciate you. That's our Grand Sheik at our temple in Detroit. If you're in Detroit, pull up. But now, watch this. Watch this. Here we go, family. Please share this. So now, all of a sudden, let me turn my heat off. So now, all of a sudden, these people are making videos on Professor Smalls. Now, at one time, these people couldn't buy a view. You see what I'm saying? They couldn't buy a view. This guy here, this guy is the host of the show. Family, do you notice what he have on his hat? Do you notice what he has on his hat? He's claiming FBA, right? He's claiming FBA, but take a look at his hat. Why is he sitting up there with a hat on with the eye? What eye do he got on there? Haru? Asar? Wait, which one? Name one. Here is the host. See how confused these people are? Do you see how confused these people are? They're sitting up there talking trash about Africans. This is how goofy this thing is. And they're talking trash about a man who has represented this concept for over 40, 50, 60 years. See how crazy this is? And they got a nerve. And as I was looking through the chat, they say, I put a comment because they saying, why would CIA fund FBA? It doesn't make sense to them. And this, when I put the comment up, I said, CIA has funded many fake power movements. Look at Saddam Hussein. Look at Gaddafi. Look at the pattern of CIA paying and funding fake opposition groups. You know what happened after that, right? Hold up. Let me screen share this. You know what happened after that, right? They blocked me. Let me screen share this real quick. Let me show you so you know. This is what I said. Here is the hat that the guy is wearing. Let me blow it up for you so you can see it. Y'all see that? Let me see if y'all can see that. Let me see if y'all can see that. I want to make sure y'all can see that. Hold up. Let me look on my phone. I got to make sure y'all can see this. Let me make sure y'all can see this real quick. Give me 1 second. Because last time, I don't think y'all could see. Make sure y'all can see this. All right. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so there it is. So this is it right here. This is it. This is it. It says woke, but look at the eye. That's African all day. That's ancient Kemet all day. What do they believe as the European has taught that ancient Kemet is European? Insane. But this is the guy that's hosting this madness. But now peep this. You have other groups online making videos about Professor Small. Professor Small's disrespect FBA. This guy want to give a response. Whoever he is. But let's look at the comparison. Professor Smalls is a graduate of City College, New York, of City University of New York. Family, what is Tariq Nasheed's background? Huh? What is Tariq Nasheed's background? What makes people think that Tariq Nasheed is more honorable than, or his word is more honorable than Professor Smalls? On this topic. He studied extensively with Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Yusef Ben Yakinen, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Dr. Ivan Sertimer, Dr. Asa Hillard, Dr. Wade Nobles, Dr. Amos Wilson, and Francis Cress Welsing. What in the world gives this 2-bit hustler more credibility on this subject? I'm not talking about any other subject. I'm talking about cultural subjects. Hold up, family. Press 7 if you hear me. What gives this 2-bit hustler more credibility on cultural subjects than a man like this? On cultural subjects. I'm not saying the other stuff. Whatever stuff we're talking about culture. We're talking about culture. What crazy fool is going to believe a fake pimp, a fake rapper, a fake R&B singer, a fake documentarian over one who has immersed himself in culture before that boy even thought about being an agent? Man, we have lost our doggone mind. That you will give credibility to a fake pimp that only sold people on the idea that he was going to treat you like a sales ticket. Then you buy some information from him so he can show you how to get the woman. That was his whole thing. His whole thing was to say, let me show you how to get butt for free. That's the Mac lessons. No, why this man is saying, find yourself a wife. Why this man saying, find yourself some culture. Why this man is saying, find yourself some inspiration from the ancestors. This fool was saying, let me show you how to get some butt. Now, and y'all gonna give him credibility? You FBAs done lost your mind. You done lost your mind. You done really lost your mind at this one. Now, let me tell you something. I definitely don't agree with everything that Professor Smalls put out. But I will tell you this. The things that I disagree with is probably just one little thing. I disagree that more means black because he said that before. But other than that, I disagree with his accepting of FBA as a colleague, as a comrade, and as an ally. And I disagreed with that. I don't disagree with anything else he said. But here we go. Dr. Hillard, Dr. Wade Nobles, Dr. Amos, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. These are the people he worked with. These are his constituents. These are the professor peers. Who is this pimp's peer? Family, y'all need to answer some questions in here. Who is the peer of Tariq Nasheed? Who is his peer? We can't talk tonight. We can't talk tonight. FBA ain't in here tonight. Who is his peer? Who is his peer? If you show me your peers, you show me your friends, I can show you who you are. Who is he? Who is they? I'm all pumped up tonight. Who is his peers? This is what I'm saying. And this is another reason why I got mad at Dr. Mayat. Because one thing for sure and two things for certain. When you see a fraud, you know a fraud, you should not endorse a fraud. You should stand on business at all times. You should stand on business at all times. When you see a fraud, you know a fraud, you shouldn't endorse a fraud. And even if the fraud provides a pathway for you to be heard, don't go that way because they are using that pathway and using you to enrich them and further their agenda. It only seems like it benefits you. Nah, these frauds are well seasoned. They got 30 years of seasoning of how to play the game. They played it with fake hip hop. They played it with fake R&B. They played it with the fake pimp game. They played it with the fake cultural game, taking 125, turning it into Hidden Colors, and now they playing it with the identity game. With ADOS, FBA, and the African diaspora. They playing the same game. And let me tell you something. The reason why I rock with this statement that the professor said about the CIA, because it's the same soup. If it works, they don't make a new plan. If it works, they don't make a new recipe. It's the same recipe. It's the same recipe. If it works, they do not make a new recipe. It's the same recipe. This is why when he said, you don't know who the CIA working with in the FBA, and I'll play the video in a minute, but it's the same recipe, family. Let me show you something. It's the same recipe. And this is the problem. We don't pay attention to the recipe. It's the same old recipe. All right? Watch this. Give me a second. Let me get with the recipe real quick. It's the same old recipe.
Due to the fact that the imperialist group or nation that runs the empire is so small compared to the empire, it must of necessity recruit from the very population it rules in order to control that empire. When you look at the history of imperialism and colonialism on the African continent, and you study Chancellor Williams' books, and you look at the history of imperialism in Africa, you cannot help but recognize that non-European imperialism and European imperialism has been aided by Africans who were recruited into the armies of the.
Do y'all understand what Brother Amos Wilson is saying? Do you even understand what he's saying? Do you get what he's saying? He's saying it doesn't work without the imperialists recruiting the people among the populace to do their bidding. To do their bidding. And these goofballs Can't even see it. They are so caught up in these emotional arguments. Oh, Africans don't like us. So what? Grow up. Oh, Africans, they are taught to come over here and stay away from us. Shut up. Oh, and none of them never even been to Africa. The person that'll make the statement, they'll make the same statement in the same sentence, say, I've never been around Africans. Africans never been in my community before. I never went to school with Africans. But Africans in their country, they tell their people don't even be around us. You sound like an oxymoron idiot. You sound like an oxymoron idiot. First, you say you never talked to an African. You never went to school with an African. Never been around an African. But then you tell me everything that Africans say. You people have lost your mind. You people have lost your mind. But I'm going to wake you up today. I'm going to wake you up today. Thank you so much, Rockman. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. 7 means we're moving towards perfection. 7 days in a week. 7 days in a week. We're moving towards perfection. After 7, we repeat. Let me go.
The imperialistic masters. That due to the fact that the imperialist group or nation that runs the empire is so small compared to the empire,
Let me explain what Brother Amos Wilson is saying as it relates to today. The people that run the empire is small as it relates to the empire. Family, when you look at the European countries that work together in the form of the European Union, that's somewhat of an empire. And in fact, when you look at the United States is modeled after an empire. See, each and every state has a charter as well as a corporation document of their own. So they're dependent upon the federal government, but they're independent and they can do without the federal government. Those are the qualities of an empire. An empire is different nations coming together as a collective, working towards a common goal. So when you look at the United States of America, every state is similar to a tribe and similar to a nation. All of them comes together and work towards a common goal. And they call that federal government. Now, stop right there for a second. So those who control it within the circumference of Washington, D.C. is rather small. You follow me? So when you put that together with the European Union, as well as the Europeans that are in the Gaza Strip, you have a literal empire without the name. And the ones that control it bring people in to do their bidding.
It must of necessity recruit from the very population it rules in order to control that empire. When you look at the history of imperialism and colonialism on the African continent, and you study Chancellor Williams' books, and you look at the history of imperialism in Africa, you cannot help but recognize that non-European imperialism and European imperialism has been aided by Africans who were recruited into the armies of the imperialistic masters and were used to practice black upon black violence against their African brothers in the name of their European masters.
And that's what we have going on right now. Now, it's not the violence as we would see in the diaspora, or I'm sorry, on the continent where there's a bunch of bloodshed, but what it is, it's mental bloodshed. It's mental separation. It's mental disaster that's going on. It's mental trauma that's being like all of us in the diaspora, we have trauma, right? We have trauma from slavery, from the institution abolition of slavery. And what they do is they look at the scab and they pick the scab. FBA picks the scab because the Europeans were able to manipulate a group of people and have them fight amongst each other. The light against the dark against the light, the man against the woman against the man, this group against that group against this group. I got this, you don't. I got don't, you know what I mean? They've been able to create that atmosphere. And what FBA has mastered the art of is to pick those old scabs that was created long time ago. And so those old scabs are now trying to bleed, but no. We're gonna put some bandages on these joints, and we're gonna heal as a people. We're gonna heal as a people. And guess what? FBA is gonna be on an island by themselves because we're gonna heal as a people. Because at the end of the day, whether you are in Canada, whether you are in Belize, whether you are in America, or whether you are on the African continent, the same imperialism dictates the cultural hatred of yourself. It dictates the hatred of your brother. It dictates the hatred of your sister. It dictates that. The same imperialism. It's not a new one in America and a different one in Canada, a different one in Africa. It's the same imperialistic system. The same thing. And for one to attack a person in Haiti, and for one to attack a person in Mexico, for one to attack a person in America or Africa, you can't tell me that they are not influenced by the same old nonsense. So at the end of the day, for 11 years, Professor Small served as principal bodyguard for late Ella Collins. Who know who Ella Collins is? Well, if you didn't already read it, Ella Collins is Malcolm X's sister. Ella Collins is the one that loved Malcolm and helped finance some of Malcolm's endeavors. Ella Collins is Malcolm X's sister. Now, you mean to tell me that the bodyguard for Malcolm X's sister at that time and has a track record from that time forward is unreliable? Didn't we say that the CIA or the FBI or the government had a hand in the death of Malcolm X? If anyone is qualified to say this looked like a CIA fingerprint, wouldn't it be one who protected Malcolm X's sister? Family, press 7, please. Plus 7, please. Plus 7, please. Wouldn't it make sense that the same one that is bodyguarding Malcolm X's sister, because Malcolm was slain by the government and those associated with NOI in the government, wouldn't it make sense that this man might know what he's talking about? Wouldn't that make sense? That he may know, he may see signs, he may see clues, he may see the fingerprint. Don't that make sense? This is what I'm saying. We don't pay attention. If this man is bodyguarding Malcolm X, who everybody say the government was involved in annihilating, if he say that, shouldn't we pay attention? Shouldn't we pay attention? I'm just saying, I think we should pay attention. I think that we should pay attention.
You've probably seen this petty beef, between Africans and African Americans.
But we don't know how much American State Department or Justice Department is involved in Foundation of Black America. Who's getting paid the money to say what they're saying? So what you're seeing ain't quite what you see. And so
wouldn't he be more credible than anybody else? If there's such a thing of credibility, I'm talking about out of all of us, including me. Now, I done show many, many receipts. I've experienced it. But when you have an elder who experienced and know what the signs look like, wouldn't he be more credible than anybody else? Huh? Like, let's just use our common sense. You can love Tariq Nasheed. You can admire him, and you can have the utmost for their love for FBA as a concept. But this is something that you should pay attention to.
Only a piece of what you see. A black face.
Yeah.
Now, not only that, let's not forget that Professor Smalls was in Hidden Colors, I think 3, 4, and 5, right? Let's not forget that. Let's not forget. Listen, how is it that Professor Smalls was so right in Hidden Colors, but today he's so wrong because he's taking a stand? Let me ask you a question. How is it he's so right in Hidden Colors, but today he disagreed with your position? Now he's the villain and he's so wrong. He disagreed with the combative nature of FBA. He disagreed with the attack on Africans and those from the African diaspora. He disagreed with the divisive nature of FBA. And now he don't know nothing. I want to see what y'all do when Kaba come to his senses. Because right now his son is sitting up there saying all type of stuff. How old is the good brother? Professor Small is 80 years old. He's 80 years old. He's 80 years old. So now that, he's old. He bumped his head. He don't. He bumped his head. He's supposed to be with us, but he just don't remember. I mean, Tariq said he disrespected lineage and called them ignorant, and that FBA delineation moves is drying up Professor Small's pocket. That's not true. Nobody knows but the delineation movement except a few on the internet. It's an internet thing. How is it drying up Professor Small's pocket when, if you go on Professor Small's Facebook page, he's always moving around doing something. In fact, I think he just left Africa, or he's on his way to Africa for his birthday. What are you talking about? You sound crazy. I mean, come on, stop it. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. FBA is not even a thing. It's only on the internet. Most of these people on the internet talking FBA, just like the guy with that show, he's walking around with an African-centered hat on. Most of the guys that's talking FBA is walking around with an African-centered what you call it? A glyph. A onk. They got hieroglyphics on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Nobody knows about this stuff. Let me tell you what's going on in the real world. Back in the real world, you got people calling themselves FBA, but going to buy oxtails. You got people calling themselves the FBA, but going to eat burritos. People calling themselves FBA, cussing out Mexicans, can't wait to eat a taco. People that's calling themselves FBA, yeah, we can go on and on and on. We go on and on and on. We can go on and on and on. They just talking. Look at this. This is GS. It's just not an internet thing. Floyd Mayweather says he's not African American. You got Cameron. And what that got to do with anything? When you understand, let me say this to you, godson. Let me explain something to you. In reality, none of us are African American. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty, godson. In reality, none of us are African American by title, but we all are descendants from Africa, from the inhabitants of Africa. Let's be clear. None of us, because nationality is not described by a continent. This is why a person from Nigeria comes over here and they're not African American. And if they're not African American, you cannot be African American either. So let's be clear. You ain't saying nothing slick to a can of oil. None of us are African Americans according to the criteria that is set. The criteria that is set, if a person from Nigeria, they are Nigerian American if they proclaim their nationality as American and become naturalized. If they're from Ghana, they Ghanese American. If they're from Sudan, they Sudanese American. They're not African American. No one is African American in reality. So for Floyd Mayweather, who can barely write his name, to say he's not African American, a clock is right one time a day. A broken clock is right one time a day. It's just like when people say Africans, they come over here, they don't even want to believe that they black. No, they not black. That's a new concept. Now the internet is it's a familiar concept. When a dark-skinned Indian come over here from India and they say, man, I'm not black, they're not going to claim that. That's a new concept for them. That's a new concept for Africa. That's a new concept for people coming from African shores. But you're so into a box. You're so into a box of your American hypnosis that you don't understand when somebody come over here from when somebody come over here from Ghana and they say they not black, you think they got something against you. You think he got something against you. But all they're saying is that they describe themselves by national descent. They don't describe themselves by adjectives. A color is an adjective that describes a noun. A human being is a noun, and human beings describes themselves. Human being describes themselves. And I said it's only on the internet, and it really is. So if you mentioned Floyd Mayweather, these are stars. These are boxers. When you go into the community, and I did it before, you go into the community and you ask people about FBA, no one knows about it. Brother, go into your community and do a genuine video with your phone. Just go to people and say, hey, do you know what FBA is? And watch how many people look at you dumbfounded. I've done it before. So, godson, my email is taharkabay@gmail.com. Go to 10 people in your community and don't dress it up. Say, family, I'm doing a video. I'm asking people, what is FBA? Can you tell me? I guarantee you, at least 7 out of 10 don't know. I will go 10 out of 10. I'll go 10 out of 10. This is what I mean that it's only the internet thing. Regular people that's trying to get their groceries out the grocery store, regular people that's trying to get their paycheck, that's working hard 12 and 14 hours, regular people trying to pick up their children and get home and then make some dinner, regular people, man, they ain't thinking about fighting no Africans and no Mexicans and nobody. They trying to get their money. They not thinking of this. This is a fight for people that got time. They got the luxury of time. This is a goofy fight for people who have time on their hands. This is the people who get stipends, who get government stipends to do stuff like this, and they got time on their hands. This is not no fight for people that's trying to be progressive and move forward and take care of their families. That sounds crazy. Listen to me. This is an internet fight. People that got real lives, people are trying to build businesses, people are trying to educate their children. I mean, come on. This ain't no fight for people that got real lives. I do it because the people on the internet, it could possibly overflow into the community. But this ain't our fight for real. Yeah, this ain't our fight for real. Let me see. Somebody say I'm dragging. Let me see. Oh, I'm dragging. Family. Let me make sure I ain't got nothing open. Shut all my windows. Check 1, 2. I'm dragging. Oh, my goodness, I'm dragging. They got me dragging. They trying to stop me, family. They trying to stop me. Hold up. They trying to stop me. Let me stop sharing. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. They trying to stop me, family. How I'm looking. They trying to stop me, family. You're freezing, but you can hear your audio. They try to stop. Listen, family. They try to stop me, man, because I'm gonna give it to you raw. They try to get me, man. They already hit my other demonstration. But anyway, the whole thing in a nutshell is that these people are playing serious games, family. I mean, they playing serious games. You know what I mean? Look, take a look at this. Hidden Colors 1, right? Hidden Colors 1. Take a look at Hidden Colors 1. You got Sabir Bay, so-called Moore, Umar Johnson. You got Phil Valentine. You got Booker T. Coleman. You got Francis Cress Welsing. For the sake of argument, every person in Hidden Colors 1 is Pan-Africanism, to the principle of Pan-Africanism, right? The people that I know in Hidden Colors 2 is all Pan-Africanists. I'm making a point. I'm getting to a point with this. They are all Pan-Africanists. Everyone. James Smalls is in part 2. They're all Pan-Africanists. Runoko Rashidi, KRS-One, Booker T. Coleman was a Pan-Africanist. Claude Anderson, all of them. Let me show you something. This is why it should be taken serious what the professor said. Look at this. Shahrazad Ali. She's associated with NOI. That's Pan-Africanist. David Banner. He was waving the red, black, and green at one time. Everybody I can name on here, even Nas, raps about Africa and Francis Cress. Khalil Kabama, Dick Gregory. For the principle of the argument, all of these are Pan-Africanists. Dr. Layla Africa, he's in Hidden Colors 4. Press 7 if you're still with me. He's in Hidden Colors 4. Tony Browder, look at these people. Patricia Newton, James Small, Natari Wilson, all of these people. Look here. Hidden Colors 5. Even Michael Jai White said, I don't even know what he's talking about. Jabari. Remember Jabari? From Sitting at a Couch? Chuck D. What my point is, when you look at the numbers, family, Check out the numbers. From the hidden colors 1 through 5, it made over $500,000. I mean, not $500,000. It made over $500,000. And he's going into hidden colors number 6. But every hidden colors to date was Pan-African driven. Every one of them was Pan-African driven. You hear what I say? Family, press 7 if you hear what I say. I know I'm dragging a little bit. Press 7 if you hear what I say. They were Pan-African driven. Pan-African driven.
One suggest themselves that they forget about their history.
Hidden Colors, the untold history of people of Aboriginal, Moor, and African descent.
And continues that into his legacies to his children, then you have problems controlling that man.
Interviewing leading scholars and historians, discussing topics omitted from modern history.
Only a people who haven't learned how to respect themselves will let someone suggest themselves that they forget about their history.
Hidden Colors.
Suggest themselves that they forget about their history.
Hidden.
One suggest themselves that they forget about their history.
Hidden Colors, the untold history of people of Aboriginal, Moor, and African descent. The groundbreaking documentary that challenges conventional knowledge.
I don't really think it's hidden. It's there. It's just that they're not allowing us to understand.
So now, why in the world would someone suggest that Professor Small is wrong? Why would someone suggest that Professor Small is wrong when the one that they're supporting is the one with all the contradictions? He's the one with all the contradictions. Follow what I'm saying? He's the one with all the contradictions. The professor ain't the one with the contradictions. Come on, man. Come on now. Come on now. Let's wrap this on up. Let's wrap this on up. Let's wrap this on up. Body bag this. Just peep it. Why is Kaba's son running around acting like he's bona fide FBA? Is Kaba even FBA? Is Kaba even descendant? Who is Kaba mama? Who is Kaba father? Because let me tell you something. In researching this brother, he got a questionable story too. He got a questionable story too. He says that his mother was from here and his father was from there, but it looked kind of funny. It looked kind of funny. But hey, let's go with it. Let's go with it. It looks kind of funny. And it reminds me of the story when I was looking up Marcus. Marcus seemed to have a made-up story. His story looked kind of made up too. It looks kind of funny. But let's go with it. 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 That you are FBA. Let's go with it. You're FBA according to definition. Let's go with it, Dr. Kaba. Booker T. Coleman. Let's go with it. Let's go with what you said. Let's go with what you said. The adoption of this mission has led Professor Khomeini to read and study ferociously, I'm going to butcher that, as well as travel His trip to Kemet, I can't see it because it's far away from me. His trip to Kemet was in 1983, and on his second trip in 1987, he noticed a deep connection between our people separated by the Ma'afa. Listen to this. His first trip was in 1983. His second trip was in 1987. He remembered noticing the deep connection between our people separated by the Ma'afa. Did he forget the connection? Kaaba, did you forget the connection? Let's read. In 1987, he went to Kemet with Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen. I was sitting on a boat. There was another brother on the boat. I heard this brother singing, and I said, I know that voice. He's singing in Arabic, but he's singing in Arabic, but the quality of his voice and the way he was singing, I know that voice. When I got up and I looked at the brother, he looked just like Sammy Davis Jr. The way Sammy Davis used to move his jaw when he sang, he moved in the same exact way. Sammy Davis Jr. His mother was Puerto Rican. His father was African American. There had to be a connection between Sammy Davis Jr. and that man. It's in our DNA. What happened to the connection? What happened to the connection? Back then, you said it was in our DNA that we are connected. What happened? Now you got your son up there talking crazy, looking crazy with his name, Haru. Anyway, Professor Khomeini graduated from New York University in 1977 with a Bachelor's of Art degree in International Politics and with a minor in Caribbean Studies. Family, put a 7 on the chat for Caribbean Studies. Caribbean Studies. You got a love for the Caribbean if you go to school for Caribbean Studies. He acquired his first master's degree in 1987 at Hunter College in New York City, majoring in history. But now, he majored in history in 1977, but now all of a sudden his history it stops at the Civil War? It starts at the Civil War? Hold up. He acquired his second master's degree in 1988 at City College in New York City with a major in education administration and supervision. He worked in the New York City Board of Education for 31 years, retiring in 2009, and has devoted his life and energy towards development of African-centered curriculum inspired by Dr. Clark. Say it with me one more time. Now, you mean tell me that this guy haven't taken a check? You mean tell me that he is not holding that man privates while he used the bathroom? I'm sorry, family. I'm going to call a spade tonight. Listen, I'm a different type of grand sheep. Don't hold me to the level of what you think them other fakes are. I'm a real one. How are you creating African-centered curriculums, but all of a sudden you are riding with somebody who's down in Africans? Now you riding with somebody who's slandering Africans, who's slandering people from African descent, but you are writing African-centered curriculum inspired by Dr. Clark. Man, you better wake up. Now, it says, that's what I've done. That's been my life. That's it. That and staff development. So that with the curriculum that I shared with the group comes the staff development that then expounds on it. So it's not just reading my curriculum, it's me walking you through the process of what the curriculum is actually saying and the importance of what you are saying to the particular group. That's what I'm about. I'm about practical curriculum that you can bring into these programs to teach the children, to teach them culture. How do you know? How do you do it? How you flesh it out? How you write your curriculum, how you write your lessons plan, and the staff develop and takes them through the process. He is talking about writing African-centered plans for children in school. Listen, man, this is the dirty type. This is the most dirtiest rat right here. This is the dirtiest rat right here. This is a guy that is writing curriculums for the public school system. And the same curriculums that he was writing that was African-centered, now he turned it on his heels. This is the dirtiest type of rat here. This is the dirtiest type of rat here that spend a lifetime, that spend 30-some years, that spend all of these years under these leaders, under these encouraging, inspiring, dynamic educators. And now today, he acting as if FBA is somewhat more superior than African thought, than African-centered, than African culture, than African unity. This man, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. How much money? Tariq can't pay you that much money. He ain't got that much money. He ain't got it. He faking like he got it. He no different than a rapper out here wearing all that shiny plastic fake jewelry. He don't got it. But you looking for the next movie. And they didn't jam me up. You looking for the next movie. It's a shame. It's a shame. Yeah, you looking for the next movie. You know what I mean? You looking for the next movie. Unbelievable, man. And this is his son. This is his son. His son underneath of him. And guess what? His son, his name, Haru. Family, press 7 if you're still with me. I'm going to get out here in a few minutes. His son is named Haru. Dr. Kaba's son name is Haru. Haru. This is what sellouts look like. This is what people that will sell you to the European look like. These people will sell you to the European. When I talk about the European, I'm talking about the oppressive European. They will sell you to the imperialist. This is what Dr. Amos is talking about. Listen to this. Professor Kwame Khamenei believes that as white domination system is currently crumbling, now is the opportunity for people of African descent to turn inward and build our own people up. Let me say it again. It is the opportune time for people of African descent to build, to turn inward and build our own people up. This is an interview. What we have to do is we have to get ready. So when we put ourselves in position where we will be able to run our own educational systems, what I'm recommending is that we can have unity without uniformity. You start local, which is Montreal. This is a lecture that he's having in Montreal. We start local, which is Montreal, then Quebec, then Canada, then the hemisphere, then the world, then the cosmos. He said he liked to tickle people's ear. He liked to tickle people's ear, and then the cosmos. That's how you build it. If you were speaking to a group of educators in Uganda, I would ask them, who are your heroes in Uganda? Start with them. Then build out of Uganda to Africa, to the hemisphere, to the world. Start local. He could be saying that to the FBA, but he don't say that. If I was to go to Highland, I need you to tell me who the people I should respect in Highland. Who did it for you? Who did it in Aruba, Bonaire, Caracas? That I can know the Dutch that I can know the Dutch African heroes. So we all need to identify these heroes and sheroes who have made us who we are today within the geographical location of where we are. Now listen close to this. We as a community of Africa, listen to this. Listen to this. This is the new FBA guy. We as a community of Africa to embrace Medu-Neter or hieroglyphics as a classical African language, just as Greek and Latin are classical languages up to the Western world. Let me read it one more time. This is Dr. Kaba, Professor Kaba. We as a community of Africa to embrace Medu-Neter or hieroglyphics as a classical African language, just as Greek and Latin are classical language to the Western world. The practical language needs to be Swahili. Are y'all with me? The practical language need to be Swahili. It is the largest African language spoken in the world, and it is the 7th largest language spoken in the world. It has been adopted by the United Nations as the official language. All African language are import, but let's be practical. So if I go to Montreal and I'm speaking to my brothers and sisters who speak French, we should be able to speak Swahili to each other. You can keep your French, I keep my English, but we speak to each other in Ki Swahili. I'm sorry. Ki Swahili. Kiwi Swahili. That's right. You know, I'm not cultured yet. I'm still working on myself. Ki Swahili. I'm sorry. If I should go to Nigeria, you should speak Yoruba. You speak Yoruba. I speak English, but we should be able to speak Kiswahili to each other. We need a common language that unites us as a diaspora. Listen. We need a common language that unites us as a diaspora. Is Dr. Asar in the building tonight? We need a common language that unites us as a diaspora. And Kiswahili is the practical language. And then we get into, I say diaspora. And then we get into the other languages. Let's be practical. It's a start to this process. It's not definitive. I don't offer definitives. I offer frameworks that we can at least start the process back home. Y'all see that? And he got his son, Haru, sitting up there talking about some FBA. He got his son, Haru. Man, look, man. We got to do better. We got to do better, family. We got to do better. We got to do better with protecting these elders. We got to do better with calling this madness out. We got to do better. We got to do better, family. We should not allow these things to go without being unchecked, family. We should not allow it to go without being checked. Like, this guy is not honorable. This guy is not honorable next to Professor Smalls, next to anybody with the track record of a Professor Smalls. Let's look at the track record. Like, it's okay to disagree, but they have literally waged an attack on Professor Smalls. They waged an attack. Even when I disagree, you might take it as an attack, but I'm not attacking. Peace and love, family. Man, we doing too much, man. We doing too much, family. Let me see what I'm doing.
One suggest or suggest themselves that they forget about the history.
Hidden Colors, the untold history of people of Aboriginal, Moor, and African descent.
And continues that into his legacies to his children, then you have problems controlling that man.
Interviewing leading scholars and historians, discussing topics omitted from modern history.
Only a people who haven't learned how to respect themselves will let someone suggest or suggest themselves that they forget about the history.
Hidden Colors, the untold history of people of Aboriginal, Moor, and African descent. The groundbreaking documentary that challenges conventional knowledge.
I don't really think it's hidden. It's there. It's just that they're not allowing us to understand.
You've probably seen this petty beef, between Africans and African Americans.
But we don't know how much American State Department or Justice Department is involved in Foundation of Black America. Who's getting paid the money to say what they're saying? So what you're seeing ain't quite what you see, and there's only a piece of what you see. A black face, and CIA. All right.
That due to the fact that the imperialist group or nation that runs the empire is so small compared to the empire, it must of necessity recruit from the very population it rules in order to control that empire. When you look at the history of imperialism and colonialism on the African continent, and you study Chancellor Williams' books, and you look at the history of imperialism in Africa, you cannot help but recognize that non-European imperialism and European imperialism has been aided by Africans who were recruited into the armies of the imperialistic masters and were used to practice black upon black violence against their African brothers in the name of their European masters.